Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So as you can tell based on the title, well today we're going to be talking about Canadian handbag brands, and we're just continuing on with this Canadian series. I did a video earlier talking about Canadian fashion brands, and again, I really don't want this channel to be about politics. I really don't want to focus on that. I feel like part of why I like doing this kind of content is because it is a form of escape, but it's also hard to ignore that as a Canadian, there is this overall like cultural interest in supporting Canadian businesses at all levels. We'll just kind of leave it at that. So that's what this video is. It's just a celebration of Canadian handbags, Canadian designers. And I would also say a lot of these, pretty much all of these, maybe with the exception of one brand, I would say is more so along the lines of like a contemporary level. And when I say contemporary, like what I'm really trying to say is in terms of price point, handbags that are under the $1,000 price point, based on like the prices of bags now that have like risen. Even a lot of these contemporary brands are starting to reach this price point. So these are the 10 brands I wanted to talk about today. And so the first one is the brand Opel. I think these bags are really lovely. So this is a Toronto-based brand. The creative director is Amy Malcolm, and the origin story was that she really wanted a handbag that suited her lifestyle. There wasn't really anything at the time on the market that suited what she wanted. So in 2010, she created what was called the Lotus bag, and from there really expanded upon the line. A lot of these bags, they have more of these like softer organic shapes. How cute is this Evie bundle bag? It comes with, it's got that kind of scrunchy strap, but then it also has a longer strap. I think this is a great contemporary alternative if you like perhaps like the more organic shapes of Bottega Veneta. The thing that I think is a little bit different is they do have neutrals like browns, blacks, but I think their color offering, I would say they use a lot of very like pretty colors, like pretty pinks, lilacs, burgundies, magentas. They're very reasonably priced, made in Canada, small batches. Another bag I really love is the Pochette. I just think that like organic shape is very beautiful. Another brand that I think is quite cool is Sonia Lee, another Toronto-based brand. And this was a brand founded in 2014 by Sonia Ibbotson. These bags, they're made in Toronto. It feels very like city cool, industrial, edgy. If I think about the recent styles of Jill Sander or even like a Yohji Yamamoto, I think this is a really cool brand to consider. I really quite like the half Maya bag, more this like east-west proportion. I also like the Jamie bag. And I actually feel like there's something about this that does feel quite like downtown Toronto. That kind of like cool, edgy city girl look. Another brand that I want to talk about is Updo. I'm probably mispronouncing that. So this is another Toronto-based brand. It's actually located on Bloor Street. You can find this brand at Simon's. They also have a website. All of these brands, I'll post their websites down below as well. When I look at these bags, there's, I think, more of this kind of like heritage. Personally, I really like the Apex bag. Again, more in this like east-west proportion, which is very quite trendy right now. But I think as well, it actually feels quite classic. The hardware with the handle, just the overall construction. If you're somebody that maybe you like brands like Ralph Lauren or even like Hermes, to me this brand feels very much in line with that kind of style. Like a lot of those equestrian colors, like the sables, the browns, the tans, like they do a lot of bags like that. They look quite robust and substantial. Like that's what I think of when I think of bags from like Hermes or Ralph Lauren. There is sort of like a robustness. Another brand I also want to talk about is Dsquared. So this is probably, I feel like if you like fashion, you probably are familiar with this brand. But this is another Toronto-based brand from identical twin brothers Dean and Dan Catton. They've been a beloved Toronto brand, and this past fashion month they had a really viral fashion show. They also do have some really cool handbags. Like they have these like styles that have like more of this like cage leather look, bondage bag as they're described, you know, lots of hardware, rings, leather details. But I also want to give a shout out to fellow Canadian YouTuber Anthropology, who did a really great video on them. So I'll link it down below. Definitely watch it. I wouldn't really say Dsquared is in that contemporary realm the way like other brands are. It's more of like a higher end fashion brand, and they're quite provocative. They also have a viral moment as well with the reissue shoe of the skate shoe. The inner fashion Toronto girl in me will always love the spine heels. These were heels that I definitely dreamed about having when I was like 19 years old, but no way I could afforded these. I hope Dsquared has a moment again. I feel like they're like due for like a bit of a comeback. Another brand I want to talk about is, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but it's called Hoibo. I do apologize. I probably said that incorrectly, but this was a brand that was founded in 2007. They launched their first retail space in Toronto's Distillery District. They really embraced this kind of like workwear aesthetic, but they create these quite like architectural shapes, very interesting structured shapes. There is also this 3D sculptural knitwear aspect about their pieces as well, and I think that's also very present in their handbags, that 3D sculptural like knitwear that is seen in the ready-to-wear. It's also seen in these very unique handbags. They have this Exhale Supernova line, and these bags, they have more of this north-south proportion, and it sort of like flexes, and it's got this like pleating that like flexes to the shape of your belongings, and I think it's quite an interesting style. And this isn't really a shape that we've been seeing in fashion, but I also think how like this can like mold to the shape of your body. You know, there is like a real nice like softness like in the knitwear. Now, another brand I want to talk about is more so of a footwear brand known for their very like quirky, whimsical, very eccentric shoes, and I'm talking about John Fluvog. So this was a brand that started out in Vancouver. The brand likes to reference different periods, and you definitely see it in the shoes, like the Victorian shoes. Others feel very like 70s, but they also do other leather accessories, including handbags. I really quite like the Anna Gothic bag, and I feel like something about this feels very contemporary, very now, but also very much in the realm and the style of John Fluvog. Like if Chloe and McQueen had a bag together, I feel like it might look like this. I think it's quite a cool bag. Another brand I want to talk about is Want Les Essentials. So this is a Montreal-based brand established in 2007. I feel like their bags more so lean in this kind of minimal aesthetic. My personal favorite is the Arc Smooth leather shoulder bag. I think it has more of a distinct silhouette. I really like the dark cherry and the blush colors. The next brand I want to talk about is Onquata. You know, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but this is a brand that is more so known for their hand painted paddles. It's an Indigenous woman owned brand, and what they're known for are these very gorgeous moose leather fringed bags. They can be clutched or they've got a leather strap. Again, I feel like this trend we've been seeing in fashion, this like Western trend, has been quite prevalent. It's very interesting to see. I think a lot of these European brands take inspiration from Western and Indigenous fashion, also charge an exorbitant price to, I think, borrow a lot of the designs and styles and profit off them. But I think rather than buying into just the aesthetic from a European luxury brand, I think it feels just more interesting to me to support the real thing. Also, another brand that does bags that I mentioned in my last video, I also just want to highlight again here, is Bronze Age. They do these really cool like satin style bags, very organic in shape. Like, I think, again, if you like perhaps a brand like The Row, but like it's more so the shapes, like they don't do leather bags. These bags are at a fraction, made in Canada. It's really cool designs as well. Another very, very popular brand in Canada. I debated whether putting it on this list, but I've actually owned several of their bags in the past, and I actually wore them quite a bit. And I'm talking about the brand Roots. To me, this is like one of the more like popular, I would say, Canadian heritage brands. And a lot of what they focus on, it's more so like comfortable, casual pieces. And they really do lean into the Canadian identity with the buffalo checks, the cabin socks, this kind of like Canadian cottage look, lots of like hockey insignia, but they actually do have really great leather products that are made in Canada. I really like this Audrey bag. I used to have a bag like this way back in the day. It wasn't this, but it was something quite similar to this. They have an assortment of bags, as they've got the Banff bag, which is very like Speedy-esque. And then finally, in this sort of category I wanted to talk about is Hayes. So this is more of a luggage brand than I would say like a handbag brand, but it still sort of fits in this category. They're known for their very ultralight luggage. They also have, for those hockey lovers, they have a line, the NHL line. So this isn't just Canadian teams, it's American teams as well. They also have some other really cute colors, finishes. That's my video for today. And I know it's a very niche topic. I can tell based on my analytics where most of my audience is based. It's actually in the US and then Europe, UK, and then I think it's Canada. But if you are Canadian, I would love to know. Please drop a Canadian emoji in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!